Hello guys, Mr. Agrophobe here today. Today I've got a build for you for the Incursion as a support build, which you have 80% protection from elites, 90% explosive resistance and 90% hazard protection. This is really good, especially if you have a healer as well, which I'll show you. I tried it my first time last night and I recorded it for you, and we did a flawless easily with my friend with a healer, me as a tank, and we had two random people with DPS builds. So let's get into it. Our chest piece is a Jarl chest piece. We get 10% hazard protection from that. The core attribute is a blue. The attributes are 10% explosive resistance, 10% hazard protection and 13% protection from elites. And the talent is Vanguard. Deploying a shield makes it invulnerable for 5 seconds and grants 45% of your armor as bonus armor to all other allies for 20 seconds. Cooldown 25 seconds. So most of the time you'll always have bonus armor. The mask I'm using is the Chill Out mask. You can only get this at Christmas time, but if you don't have the Chill Out mask, I'd recommend using a Giller, so you get the 5% total armor. But the core is a blue. The attributes are 10% explosive resistance, and the mods are 12% protection from elites, 2 of them. The backpack is the new brand set Lengmo, which gives us 20% explosive resistance. The core attribute is a blue. The attributes are 10% hazard protection, 10% explosive resistance, and 12% protection from elites. And the talent we're using is Galvanize. Applying a blind, ensnare, confuse, or shock to an enemy grants 40% of your armor as bonus armor to allies within 20 meters of that enemy for 10 seconds. So if you proc this near enemies and near your team and Vanguard, you'll get 85% of my armor, which is absolutely ridiculous. Our fourth piece of gear is improvised holster. You can craft this at the bench, but our holster has a blue core, 10% hazard protection, 10% explosive resistance, and 12% protection from elites. Our knee pads are improvised as well. The core attribute is blue. The attributes are 10% explosive resistance, 10% hazard protection, and 12% protection from elites. The gloves we're using are improvised as well. The core attribute is a blue. Attributes 10% hazard protection, 10% explosive resistance, and a 12% protection from elites mod. The reason we're using improvised is because you get a mod slot with these. Usually with holster, knee pads and gloves you don't get mod slots, but we want these mod slots for protection from elites. Our primary weapon is the Scorpio exotic shotgun. The core attributes is 15% shotgun damage, 12% damage to armor, 10% critical hit damage, and the talent is septic shock. Shooting a target applies stacks of venom which lasts for 10 seconds. Increasing stacks adds more severe debuffs to the target. 1 poison, 3 disorient, 6 shock, 7 target takes additional 20% damage from all sources. Stacks no longer increase. Duration of status effects is based on percentage of pellets hit on applying shot. Those are the mods. This works great with Galvanize, guys. This is what's on a proc it because you put enemies on status effects when you hit them with the pellets. Our second weapon is the stage left named rifle. The core attribute is 15% rifle damage, 17% critical hit damage, and 10% damage to targets out of cover. And the reason we're using this is because when we're fighting the bosses, we'll proc this talent to give our teammate 40% more damage to armor, which is perfect sledgehammer. Dealing damage with a grenade applies a mark on target. Targets with mark will take 40% more damage to armor and have a minus movement speed. Mark will disappear after 10 seconds. Those are the mods with it. But when we're using this against bosses, we'll pull out Vanguard, we'll get Galvanize and throw your grenade, and we'll have flame grenades which proc sledgehammer multiple times in a row. The pistol we're using is the Orbit. The core attributes are 15% pistol damage, attribute is 10% damage to targets out of cover, and the talent is perfect finisher. Swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy grants 35% critical hit chance and 40% critical hit damage for 15 seconds. And that's the mod we're using. The first skill we're using is the Crusader Ballistic Shield. We're using this instead of the actual Bulwark Shield because we're using the shotgun, and our shield can tank loads. You'll see the turrets at the start of the Incursion. It tanks all the turrets' bullets. It's OP, guys. But the shield with tier 6, because we have 6 blues, and those are the mods. The second skill we're using is the booster hive, which is tier 0, but this will give us 23.8% hazard protection when it procs. So we'll have over 90% hazard protection then. But those are the mods as well. This is the overall build, guys, which 3 improvise, Jarl, new brand set and chill out mask, all blue, no red at all. And then we have the Scorpio to proc galvanize, and Vanguard for the team, which your team is always got bonus armor, and if you have a healer at the same time, you're basically immortal, guys. It's really good, this build. And the mortals at the start of the mission don't even damage it at all. Same as the flame boss, he'll stick you, you'll just get out of it straight away. You can have all the aggro running around and stuff. It's great. And we have the flame grenade to proc sledgehammer, guys, which will give our teammates even more damage. But I'll show you the stats now. %80 protection from elites, 90% explosive resistance, 70% hazard protection, but when we get the booster hive, we get 93%, which is like mad. It's really good, guys. And I'll scroll down the rest for you. The specialization we're using, guys, is the survivalist. The reason we're using survivalist is because we get the medkit, which will heal our teammates if we're 20 meters, within 20 meters of them. We'll get the flame grenade for sledgehammer, and we'll get group members get 10% bonus damage to targets with status effects. So when we throw the grenades at the bosses, obviously stay behind your teammates or in front if they're shooting like a minigun like the first boss. But it will give them more damage as well. We get 15% shotgun damage, 15% rifle damage, and 15% sidearm damage. But this is a really good build, guys, especially for the Incursion. It will be good for Countdown as well, because it's mostly elite enemies in Countdown, and the Incursion is basically 99% elite enemies. Give it a go, guys. This is a template, so you can change it how you like, but in my opinion this is the best way you can possibly make it. But Jarl is a really hard brand set to come across to get, just remember that. If you want to know how to craft Jarl without farming the Dark Zone, let me know in the comments, and I'll make a little video for you how to do so. But give it a go, guys. Like and subscribe for future content, and have a great day.
If you want to secure the garden, you're going to need to take out that turret. Heads up, Agent. Cleaners must have developed a new fuel system. They're not wearing their regular gear. So if you were planning on blowing their tanks, you're going to need to find a new way to handle this threat. Great work, Agent. You took out those turrets. I need to clear the area to reach the gate. It's a trap. Cleaners incoming. Be careful. They're headed for the truck. That thing is basically a bomb. The truck is taking a lot of damage. You need to take out those cleaners attacking the truck before it blows.
Striker drone detected. Hostile striker drone detected. Great work, Agent. You should be clear to approach the front gate. Hopefully you can access the estate from there. Hostile detected.
Damn it, you missed one. Hostiles headed for the truck. Stop that cleaner. Sorry about that. You should be clear now. Head through the gate.
Oh, babe. One playmates for the kids. Hope they like the toys you brought. Don't worry, babe. That's covered. I love our kids.
No shit. Those lovebirds. If the lovebirds organize this invasion, you need to be prepared for anything. Rumor is they have access to Shade Tech. Not sure if Conley made them honorary agents or if they have another fairy godmother, but it's starting to make sense why our first team was overrun so quickly.
I'm starting to miss my kids. Thanks, babe. That was close.
Rogue defender drone detected. Hostile defender drone detected.
Damn
she's become more dangerous since you made her a widow.
Serious trauma detected. System disrupted. System back online.
With the lovebirds out of commission, you're clear to secure the site. Once we get the all clear, I'll send an extraction team for the survivors. Great work, agents. You've secured the site. We're clear for the medical team to land, recover any survivors, and bring them back